Note to self: speak up about mental health. Hey everyone, on this episode of Note to Self, I actually want to read a blog post I made a while ago about mental health. And rereading it, I was so happy with how it came out, and the words still resonate with me today. And part of the reason that I made this blog post, March 29th, 2017 to be exact, was for a medical school assignment where we made blogs essentially to reach out to the public about topics that we were passionate about. And so after writing this blog, I felt really good about myself. I felt really good about what I was trying to do and trying to bring to the community, and was planning on making more posts, but then kind of let that inner saboteur get in my way and say, not really. It didn't seem like too many people were reading it. Didn't seem like too many people were interested. So kind of time got away, and I never really made another post. So I'm gonna read it now, and we'll see what you think. So I titled it, quote unquote, mental health. And I said, today I want to discuss the stigma associated with mental health concerns. Mental health is clearly too broad and difficult a topic to cover in a blog post, but I wanted to touch on a few points that I find help provide myself and those around me some understanding on the topic. How many times do people associate mental health with personal toughness? Unfortunately, I've heard it far too often. I hear things like they cracked under pressure, or they just weren't strong enough to handle the situation, or even, I may have problems, but I'm strong enough to not need medications. My most recent encounter with a patient went something like this. Me: it sounds like life is throwing a lot of stress at you. Have you considered meeting with a counselor? Patient: what? Why would I do that? I'm not crazy. Do you think I'm crazy? Me: not at all. I believe every one of us, myself included, should have some type of counselor, therapist, or psychologist to talk with and to help decompress. We all have stress in our life, and just having someone there to talk and connect with can help significantly. Patient: oh, well, when you put it that way, I suppose that makes sense. This idea of mental state associated with strength may appear to make sense to some, but it unfortunately misses the mark and creates an unfortunate stigma for those with actual mental health concerns. For example, this patient, who could very much benefit from having some sort of counseling, was against the idea initially due to this unfortunate stigma that she would be considered crazy, and being crazy to her was a flaw or personal weakness. Others have told me that they are strong enough to handle their problems on their own, and they don't need someone else to talk with. Again, I explained to them that this has nothing to do with personal strength, as talking with someone about our problems in no way makes us weak. In fact, connecting with others strengthens our communication, social, and empathy skills, and also alleviates some of our personal concerns. That sounds like a strength rather than a weakness to me. People also seem to associate taking medications with being weak for similar reasons. My response to this is quite simple. If any type of ailment was bothering you enough to interfere with your daily life, wouldn't you want to do something about it? For example, if you're having heartburn, wouldn't you want to do something to alleviate your symptoms? Or if you have a headache, wouldn't you want to take a pain reliever? Sure, you could tough it out and just wait for the symptoms to go away, but imagine doing that every day for weeks, months, years. Imagine telling your friends how you have toughed out your headache for years and refused to do anything about it. Do you think they'd be impressed? Or do you think they'd just be confused why you aren't doing anything for it? Or imagine that your headache affects you so much that you don't really have the interest in seeing your friends in the first place, and you start losing those connections altogether. Are you trying to just impress yourself at that point? Mental concerns are very similar to these physical concerns I just described. Imagine thinking of anxiety like a headache. If it is a constant and interferes with your daily life, wouldn't you want to do something about it? Imagine thinking that way for depression, OCD, ADHD, bipolar disorder, etc. Imagine viewing these through the lens of my last paragraph. I think the conversation on mental health would be much different. So, basically the main takeaway of that is people categorize mental health and physical health as kind of separate things, but if we were to treat them similarly, if we were to say, hey, this person has depression that's interfering with their life, they're having symptoms, shouldn't we do something about it? versus thinking about it kind of like the headache situation. If you had a headache every single day for years and you just didn't do anything about it, are you toughing it out, or are you just kind of being silly? So that is hopefully the takeaway from this message, is mental health concerns and physical health concerns really are not that much different. I know that we like to categorize them separately, and there's reason for doing that, but ultimately, if you treat them similarly, that stigma that comes with mental health concerns hopefully will be able to go away. But obviously that's a huge topic to tackle at this time, but hopefully this gives a little bit of insight and some perspective, and hopefully makes you think. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, thanks.